But I want to know, Jeremy, in your opinion, now after this trade deadline that the Lakers were definitely a part of, which team has helped themselves the most in regards to their chance for a championship this season?
Who's the best player that got traded?
No, Kevin Durant.
Bingo. Simple question, simple answer. The Phoenix Suns, they've enhanced their chances to win the championship by the most. This is very rare. Like, this does not happen often at all, to where Kevin Durant's a top 15 all-time player at the very worst.
I was going to say, that might be selling him short, man.
He's inching in that top 10 type of conversation. We'll see how his career ends, but top 15 all-time player. There's only a handful of those top 15 players that have ever been traded. Shaq being one in the offseason. Wilt Chamberlain happening twice, but that was more for his own, like, trying to move around, all in the offseason. A player of his caliber in the history of the NBA has never been traded at the deadline like this. And the fact that if you're questioning, well, how big was it or how little was it? This took over Super Bowl week. It happened to the team that was hosting the Super Bowl, Phoenix Suns, down there in Arizona where the Super Bowl was. Everyone was talking about Kevin Durant and the NBA trade deadline. NBA strategically planted their trade deadline Super Bowl week just in case something like this were to happen. The NBA and NFL go back and forth with these little things of how they schedule their calendars. Point being, the Suns with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, obviously, those two scorers on the perimeter, like, no matter what, if those guys get hot, that's pretty great. They don't have depth. They don't have everything else that you need for a championship team, but if you throw Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton with those two, like, that is a formidable starting five, finishing five. That's good enough. That's good enough to win the championship. That's the biggest move. Like, I love what the Lakers did. If you really look at it in totality, only having to give up one pick, moving Russell Westbrook out, which I've been begging for weeks, if not years now.
Who's now on the Clippers.
Let him be. I'm glad he went to the Clippers. I cannot wait.
Could you imagine Clippers, Lakers in the playoffs? I need that in my life, NBA.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
If only they will play Russell Westbrook to close out that unit. I would love
they won't.
for him to just, because he needs the ball in his hands. So does Kawhi, so does Paul George. So that's going to implode them internally. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get.
Russ is going to be a bench guy. I think the Clippers will be smart. You turn Russell into his own one-man, 10-minute team off the bench. When you want to rest, seriously.
Listen to yourself.
When you want to rest, seriously, it's going to be best for Russell and everybody.
10 minutes.
So rest Kawhi and George for 10 minutes a game, and those other 10 minutes, you're letting Russell run with the second group, and they just do their thing.
And he'll turn a 5-point lead into a 14-point deficit like that for your team. But with the Lakers getting back D'Angelo Russell expiring contract, he fits more with LeBron and AD than what Russ did. Jared Vanderbilt, great defensive player, big man that can get around. And then Malik Beasley, a scorer, a three. He hasn't really clicked yet with the Lakers, but I like adding that. And then you throw in Mo Bamba. Like, they added pieces that are helpful.
Mo Bamba looks good, too.
Yeah, he'll defend the rim. He'll eventually knock down some threes and get into a rhythm, but we've only seen them all together for one game, and it was kind of a blowout of New Orleans. They beat them by 15-20. We haven't seen many Laker blowouts this year, so that was good to see going into the All-Star break. I'm excited for these final 23 games, the most important games, as you mentioned, of LeBron's career. I can't wait to see them, but as a whole, NBA trade deadline was ridiculous. 39 second-round picks were traded, and guess how many players have ever been good from the second round? Like a handful.
Yeah, very few handful.
The currency of the NBA and how they form these transactions, it's kind of comical. I don't know if they're trolling us as the fans by, like, trading X player for 5 second-round picks, but I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the NBA trade deadline. To me, it's undefeated because it has more impact than the MLB trade deadline. MLB trade deadline, you always see a big name move to, but it's never as crazy as the NBA, right? I like Kyrie going to Dallas, okay? Hear me out.
Yeah.
Right? Finally, Luka's got a legit running mate, right? Everybody thought, when they got 3-6 Latvia with Kristaps Porzingis that was going to be the running mate that he needed. But Kristaps has always just been a flashy player. He never looked like the real deal to me. Kyrie Irving, let's be real. That guy is the real deal. If he had a straight head on his shoulders, that guy would be top 15. I mean, his ball handling, he's the best ball handler in the league. No one can take that away from him.
At the rim.
And finisher at the rim. I mean, the guy is electric. He's the reason that LeBron got that Cleveland championship. Let's be real. Obviously, LeBron put in his work, too. It was a team win. But Kyrie came up clutch with that big three-point shot. And it was like answering the Warriors. So Kyrie, he's going to get it done in the postseason. And now you finally have another consistent scoring threat, so you could put Luka on the bench for a little bit, right? So from when he entered the league, first year, 33.6 minutes per game. 2021, 34.3. 2022, 35.4. This year, 36.5 minutes per game. The guy is always on the court. He is top 5. Only person ahead of him, one of them, is Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie also plays these kind of minutes. So you can easily have one of those guys on the court all game long now. So you have a legitimate top scorer in the NBA, legit top 5 scorer in the NBA on the court at all time if you're the Dallas Mavericks. And they got enough pieces around them. I mean, really, they only had to give up Spencer Dinwiddie. You turn Spencer Dinwiddie into Kyrie Irving, all right? So
I think Tim Hardaway Jr. was in that trade too. So another good piece, but yeah, I get it. He's a role player.
To me, the better piece was Dorian Finney-Thompson.
Oh, that's what Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, Finney-Smith.
That's what
he got traded with Spencer Dinwiddie and pick.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's some nice moves for the Nets. Honestly, the Nets kind of came up with a nice little cachet out of trading the two, but they also are left with no superstar.
Oh, they got Ben Simmons.
And thank God.
I stand by your statement.
Thank God. But I said I like the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I love what the Suns got at the trade deadline.
Course.
I can't argue. I think the Mavericks made a really nice move, but I mean, the Suns are getting KD. I mean, let's be real. I think he's top 10. I think he doesn't even really need to do too much. Yeah, top 10 all time. Top 10 greatest talented players. Now,
top 10 all time is solidified.
Not greatest careers. Hear me out. Not greatest careers. Top 10 greatest players of all time as far as skill level.
I mean,
as far as skill level,
are we putting Kyrie into this then? Because
Kyrie,
skill-wise,
drop him in the 90s, drop him in the 70s, drop him in the 30s. KD is getting buckets.
Like you can't.
KD is getting buckets.
Of course, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I look at it as it's a mixture of both. Your greatness, meaning your peak, when you could do when you're at your height of your superpowers. How did that influence the outcomes of seasons? Jordan, obviously 6-0. We're all very familiar with that. I think the top 10 is solidified, and it's hard to knock on that door.
I think KD's peak, he could, A, still be in it if he just stays healthy, but B, I think his peak was when he won those back-to-back finals MVPs.
Do you have him over Shaq all time? Because Shaq's number 10 on the list.
Career or talent?
Combine the both.
Oh, combine the both? I got to go KD. I'm going KD over Shaq. Okay. But we can get into this. We can do this. We got plenty of time to talk about NBA coming up.
I feel a little power ranking down the road at some point.
We can get into that. We can get into that for sure. But let's stick to the trade deadline. Getting KD is huge. All right, KD, those kind of guys just don't move, like you said. They don't move. And then on top of it, they still have 22 games to get chemistry. And if there's ever a scientist that can cook up the chemistry quick enough, it's the point god in Chris Paul. CP3 will have them boys ready to play, right? What'd they give up? They gave up Mikal Bridges, who dropped like 40-something points in his first game for the Nets. So shout out to you, Mikal. Yeah. He's been kicked around the league too much. When the Sixers drafted him, I was stoked because he's a Villanova kid. He's a Philly boy. But regardless, he's going to do his thing. Cam Johnson is good. Dario Saric, another Philly outcast.
Yeah.
He's good. I like him. He's a scrappy European player. But KD, I mean, come on. Then on top of it, since then, they signed TJ Warren and